Good morning, everybody. Man, it is absolutely gorgeous today. I recommend if you're in any position to go outside and go for a walk, do that as often as you can. It absolutely changes my world. So today, wanted to shoot you a quick message about, clarifying some of your own thought patterns when you go to share information with other people and realizing who your message is really meant for. And that's very important because if you don't quite know who you're talking to when you're sharing any kind of thoughts that you have, you can really kind of be discouraged at the reception if the people that you want to hear the message don't hear the message, and the people who do hear the message are not necessarily your target audience. They're not the people you're trying to talk to. And so that's very important in every aspect of what you do in communication, is realizing that what you're about, what you're saying, the information and value that you give the world, whether it's about something, a small task at work, if it's relevant to a specific part of what you do and you're talking to somebody that isn't involved in those processes, that message isn't going to mean anything to them. It's honestly going to be pretty annoying for them to have to even hear what you're saying about something that they don't understand or care about, right? On top of the people who need to be hearing that message and helping you with that thing are obviously not, right? And so that's a simple situation where when we go into bigger pictures of some of the stuff that I talk about, for example, in training and personal development and mindset improvement and all of the things that my intentions are to help people with, it's not meant to help everybody. It's not meant to even be heard by everybody. We all have specific value that we bring to the world. And that value has higher or lower impression on specific people and intrinsic value in itself based on what their needs are, what their experiences are, what their mindset is, what their beliefs are. There's so many things that go into this formula that determine who your message is going to be received by and how well that's going to be interpreted. So in sales, this is really easy. Who is your customer avatar? Who's the specific person that you want to sell a product or service to? You can define that down to a very microscopic detail level so that you know exactly who you are supposed to create your advertising and your offers for. And that becomes the voice that you put out there, so it's only received by a specific group of people that you intend it to be heard by. Now, what's going to happen in any case where you share information with the world, whether this is a simple Facebook post, whether this is you talking to somebody directly in person at work, whether this is a Facebook Live, whether this is a paid training, whatever level you are engaging with somebody and exchanging information, how well they receive that information is based on whether or not they are the target audience for that information. So that's how you determine, is this information going to be received well? Should I even share this information? If it's not relevant to the audience in front of me, there's no point in talking about it. Things that I deal with in marketing, I don't really talk to my family about because they don't understand it, and honestly, they don't really care. And I don't blame them because they're not in that world. It's not relevant for them. If you're in network marketing, in any case, you do a home business, right? Being told that your target audience is a 3-foot circle is an awful way to look at things. Not everybody needs to hear your message. Now, in this case, this should never discourage you from sharing the information that you have. Because a lot of times, we don't even know who our intended audience is. The better we can define that, the easier it is to speak directly to them and make sure that our message gets to those correct people. But a lot of times, The internet and the world works in mysterious ways that we don't understand. And I can say things here on this Facebook Live that will reach people all around the world. However it happens, that's not my part. My part is to share my message, to share what I feel is important for other people to hear, because whoever needs to hear that information becomes my intended audience. If somebody does not need to hear my information, that's okay with me. They're simply getting in the way of my message, and I apologize for that, but it's not meant for you if this doesn't have value for you. However, this doesn't mean I'm going to stop sharing this information, because I know up front that what I'm talking about doesn't resonate with every single person, and that's okay with me, because I have so many people that have come to me and said, I listened to your talk while you're walking around your neighborhood, and I'd heard some of the stuff that you talked about before, but the way that you said it, the words that you used versus whoever else I had heard before say it differently, clicked for me. It made sense at that point. And I was able to look at things differently and make some change, right? So this is very important in understanding that whatever it is that you're passionate about and you know about and you have information about, don't be afraid to share that. Don't be afraid to get that out to the world, because you never know the impact that you're going to have on somebody who needs to hear that information. Somebody who has a problem, and maybe they're looking for a solution, and the words that you say provide a spark that move them towards a solution. You don't even have to be the solution, but saying something that inspires people to take action and do something and move in a direction that you're going in is a magical thing. And the more people that are sharing their information and their message in the world for everybody else, because that's what they know and that's what they're excited about, the people who are intended to hear that message are the ones that respond. Now, there are going to be people who also respond who are not intended to hear that message, and you can immediately tell. We call them haters. There will be haters. So realize that there will be response, but the only ones to focus on are the ones who respond positively, because they are meant to hear what you have to say and interact with you about the direction you're going and what you're involved in and your aspirations. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. If you're struggling through every day just trying to get a job done and make $1 and survive to tomorrow, life is tough and it's really not that exciting and enjoyable. Where if you have the smallest glimmer of something that you're excited to wake up to do, and you tell somebody about that, if they don't respond positively, they're not the right recipient of that message. You need to find somebody else to talk to about what you're excited about. Somebody that's also excited about that, because they will give you affirmation about the thing that you're doing and how awesome it is, and spark different ideas in you, how to think about it differently, but still on the same path. And that's how you create a community around you of people who reinforce what's awesome for you. Not because you're trying to impress everybody else, but because they're also on the same path and have the same interests and looking for the information that you're sharing in your message. They have said, yes, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to be a part of your world. I want to make sure that I get to interact with you. So guys, if you have something to share with the world, don't ever feel afraid because you think that there's people who won't like what you're saying. Because there's going to be those people. There's going to be a negative Nelly in every case. So if you anticipate that and you know it's happening, then it's no big deal. Then all you're doing is going about your day and saying what you want to say. And if you're somebody that gets in the way of my message, that's okay. You just move out of the way next time, dodge my message, and we won't have that interaction. and the people that get in the way of my message, who need that, who positively benefit from the information I'm sharing, whether it's my voice, a video, a blog post, whatever it may be, that you share information with other people and you have the ability to be passionate about the knowledge and experience and excitement you have about what's to come. Not just what you know and have experienced, but what you anticipate happening, what your plans and goals and dreams are, where you want to go, what you really want to accomplish is so important. And if you find one person that can be a cheerleader and agree with you that what you're talking about makes sense and it's a good idea, and yes, it's possible, that starts something. Where that goes, I don't know, and how that's determined is not up to us. We get to decide what we want to do and what we're excited about. We get to determine the where, the what the end process, the end result looks like. And when we say something about that, about what we want to have happen in the world, it's going to be received by lots of people, and we only need to focus on the ones who also agree with us. Because if someone doesn't agree, that's okay. They've got their own prerogative and their own beliefs. That's totally fine. The world is diverse, and that's what makes it awesome. So just attach to a couple of people. Find one person who hears your message and says, yes, thank you for sharing that today, because I needed to hear this. This was something that resonated with me so that I can also do something different in my world, even if it only includes being excited right in this second, because there was the tiniest of spark of connection and relatable information. Guys, whatever you're saying is not new. The words that I'm using, every single word has been said by somebody else. But the way that I put words together is how I do it, based on my interpretation and my vocabulary, my knowledge, and my excitement and passion, and my choices. And so the way that I express things, even though the words have been used, and the ideas have been talked about, and the concepts have been discussed and thoroughly examined, you can search for any piece of information you want on the internet, and there is so many search results for every single keyword you could possibly think of. But yet the words that I say and the message that I have to share with the world is so different than how everybody else has ever done it. And that's the magic that we have as human beings, is to break things down into our own worlds of how we see it and understand it and our interpretation of it. And when we share that back to the world, there's going to be a lot of recipients, and the only ones that matter are the ones who are also in that same path. So take this with you the next time you talk to somebody. If that interaction is not necessarily positive, just realize they're not the right recipient for your message. Because you can't control other people. You can't control how they feel or what they do. You can have an influence on it. You can have an impact on that. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to choose. And so if they choose to receive your message negatively and give you negative feedback and argue with you or ignore you or any kind of non-positive response, talk to somebody else. Or talk to that person about something different. Because everybody has relevancy. We usually have something in common with somebody that we're interacting with at some point, right? So the reason that you're in front of people is why you need to talk to those people in the first place. But if you have something specific that you're putting out to the world or to a specific group, find out who that group needs to be before you send your message. And that's how you have the best retention and reception of your message, is when it's said and given to the intended audience up front. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. got some cars out here. I'm going to cross the street safely, hopefully, and we'll see you next time.